Hey, what's up? It's me, your girl Nia. I am coming to you from Black Exploration with Nia. Drinking your water and minding your business is the best when you literally have a chemical imbalance that is causing the personality defect of narcissism. I only want to talk about this because I have supported men through this. And I know that when men are in dark times, they drink alcohol or they have lots of sex. What value
can you
bring to this person and see in them?
So how much did you have to fix your relationship with yourself first in order to have a successful relationship with someone else? Even in the realm of dating.
When it comes down to it, people's opinions are not facts, it's just their opinions. Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Nia, and you are back for an episode of Black Self-Exploration with Nia. So we all know what's up. This is authentic, raw, and we're just telling our journey. So I'm going to get in really quickly with the introduction to my homie Paul. What's up, Paul?
Hey, what's happening? What's going on?
So we're happy to have you here.
Yeah.
This is an interactive podcast where people just come on and, share their truth and their authentic selves. So we just take our mask off in this safe space and we just explore. So if you are also looking to tell your self-exploration story and you want to be true and authentic, go ahead and reach out to team@ridgelconsulting.com. You can directly DM us and you can email us again at team@ridgelconsulting.com if you want to share your journey too. Also, for those of you who have questions, comments, or just want to get more deeper with the discussion, go ahead and leave your comments and just check out our website at rcwellnessbrand.com to check out our latest event. So we're going to get right into it. So today we're just going to explore what today, Paul? What are you exploring right now in your life? Which
journey
would you like to let the audience know about?
One of the most recent accomplishments, but one of the longest journeys I've been on.
Okay.
In quite some time.
All right.
Which is I can speak on it now. Or?
Well, let's give them a little bit more feedback because this is the part where you brag.
Oh, word.
And tell people why you're an amazing person and why you're noteworthy of being in front of this camera. So go ahead and just shine.
Okay. I'm a Bay Area native, San Francisco, born and raised. 3 children who I love and do pretty much everything for at this point in my life. Has some, most people in life, has some ups and downs, but planning on more ups these days based upon looking at my downs and seeing why I fell. I'm bragging right now, I guess.
I mean,
right?
this is what life is about when you get to a certain level.
Shoot. Well, I mean, I do a bunch of stuff with the community. I'm a part of the 100 Black Men in the Bay Area. It's a great organization, gives it back to the youth in the Bay. Scholarships, mentorships, things of that nature. I also run a nonprofit called the IFA Foundation, which is the health and wellness. It's focused on the health and wellness of the youth in the community. We do a lot of career-based training and real-life training, financial training for these kids so they can have other alternatives. I run a fitness company where I do a lot of group stuff with the community, one-on-ones, and it's a brand now, so there's clothing and things like that. Teach CPR. I do.
You know what? Let me tell you something. The reason why I'm challenging, I won't even call it a challenge. I guess the reason why I'm passionate about us introducing ourselves because I'm learning a lot about marketing and branding, right?
Okay.
And they said if you can't sell yourself, you can't make money.
Oh.
That's what they said.
Okay.
If you can't sell yourself. So when I thought about that, I was like, damn, how many of us have been taught to be extremely humble when we're doing great things, right? And so it has a lot to do with underselling yourself, right? But not getting the value out of what you need and what you want.
Right.
And I understand that, why that's hard for us, and when I mean us, Black people, right? Because this is a Black safe space. why that's hard for us, because we've always had to be humble to our greatness
Mm-hmm.
in fear of a retaliation. Like if I shine too much and that's putting a lot of spotlight on me,
Right.
and I don't want those issues.
Right.
But that's trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
And so I'm listening to these guys say, hey, if you can't sell yourself, you can't make money. So I'm like, wait.
Who the hell?
This is something we have to start
Yeah.
owning our value in, and it really just starts with an introduction, right, of how we introduce ourselves. So can you shine like a little bit brighter right now?
Right. I do a lot of. Can I cuss?
You
Dang.
can say and
What?
feel
'Cause
and do
I do a lot of
whatever
shit,
you
you know.
want. You do.
Yeah, I'm like a titan, man. I do a bunch of things in the community, in my
Mhm.
family, in the household, for myself.
Right.
I got a lot of projects,
Mhm.
more to come.
Mhm.
And I'm enjoying the levels
Right.
of life, and I'm enjoying getting there.
Mhm.
I love talking about it,
Right.
and my proof is in my pudding, more to, so to speak. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You can Google me.
Okay.
You
When you
know,
get to a certain point, let me tell you
yeah, you
something.
can Google me.
When you can say you can Google me, you don't really have to talk too much.
Yeah,
You
I
just
got
send
a
it to
few
the
things out
URL.
there.
Right.
I got a few things out there.
Right. Right. So you're like a silent brag.
Like a ninja. I go and do the job, and I get out of there, and it's done. And I go back to my cave and train some more to do it all over again.
Okay.
You feel me?
I think that's just a way of being that we
You
need to
feel
highlight
me?
more. Okay, so I guess that's a ninja space, or the reason why Justin is saying that, and Justin is a silent ninja too in the back. Let's give a shout out to
You
Justin.
feel me? Silent ninjas.
It's because he's the same way, and so I'm getting him. The same way I mess around with you is the same way I mess around with him. So that's
feel
why
me?
he's like,
Man.
this is how it is. So let's explore just your process, and
Okay.
what does that look like for, let's say, an audience member who's you're about the community. So let's say that they're from the community,
Right.
they're the San Francisco area, Oakland area,
Yeah.
Richmond area, all those places that are marginalized,
Oh,
but we
yeah.
have the same experiences,
Yeah.
right? So if you are, let's say you're speaking directly to that young boy or girl, right, who grew up in the same circumstances and situations as you did, how would they know you're talking to them? Let the listener know who you're
Okay.
talking about. Explain that person.
Well, I'm gonna talk to myself then.
Okay,
As
let's
that
go.
age. So I know that sometimes you come home with the notes on the refrigerator, and you don't have nobody there. You got to figure out what to do. Make sure you get it done. You might have some chores. It may be a lot for that particular, for my young self, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What age are you?
I'm about 10,
You 10, okay.
probably younger than that, but
Okay.
I was a latchkey kid, or what do you say? You come home, you got a key. You walking
Yeah.
home, you get home, you make sure the homework is done. You got to feed yourself, whatever it is, and you outside. When you have that form of neglect, not saying it's purposely done by parents, it's
Right.
just it's things that we have to do as parents
Right.
to make the ends meet. But when you have that form of neglect, and you feel like the option is to do whatever is cool or whatever is fun or whatever just feels good,
Mm-hmm.
that vice or that codependency that you develop from not having that love or that attention,
Mm-hmm.
try to pick up, stay young, try to pick up a habit of learning something or yourself versus doing things that don't have too much, that are not productive, but it just satisfies a momentarily fix for you, wherever that may be, whatever being cool is. Look to look to the long game and being cool. That's what I would tell my younger self, what I would
Mm-hmm.
tell these kids. There's always going to be, if you doing something as 15, 12, 13 that somebody on TV is doing at 25, 30, whatever, it's two things. Either they doing something that is some way beneath them stuff, or that stuff is still going to be there when you turn 25 or 30.
Right.
So work towards something, because you want the same level as a 30-year-old. You don't want to be on that level like that. It's because it goes both ways. It's bad and worse. So
one thing I noticed about, our era and that age, because we're not too far apart, is like we had television people to kind of emulate. And I was thinking about like what movie growing up impacted me to where I was like, I think I want to live that lifestyle. Right.
okay.
So I had a lot of options.
Yes.
I had a lot of options to be many things. But what I gravitated towards was the movie Boomerang. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, I do remember
Okay. For any of you who don't, like, you guys should watch that. I'm pretty sure it's so mainstream you can get it on YouTube at this point. But I remember seeing Robin Givens.
She was bad.
Yeah. And she was the only woman I have ever seen that just didn't give a fuck.
Nah, she was a bad, cold piece of work in there.
I saw how she would just not play into it, but always have a strategy. And she was just always so slick to where you could not blame anything.
like you let yourself fall for this one again? Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So what I took from her is that you can do all things, right? And you don't have to be the straight and narrow person like Halle Berry was, right?
Right.
Since I had no desire to be Halle Berry at that age, even though now I do. She was smart. Halle Berry actually was a smart one. She was just too sweet. But good girls always finish last. So I grew up with that image, right?
Okay.
So I was able to sneak a lot of the bullshit, right? Because I was focused on success driven by that narrative. Who was your favorite TV show or person or character that you was like, when I get older and I can floss, I want to be that energy?
Dang. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, I liked Eddie Murphy in Boomerang for certain parts. And then I'm like,
which one did you like about him in that movie?
First, he was also a boss in that.
Okay.
In his lane, he wasn't the boss, but he was up there, black man, corporate level, doing his thing, right? And he was macking.
Right.
Then he got macked. So I was like, damn, it happens to the best of us, right? So I liked him in that movie, but as far as like, I don't know, man, I've never actually thought about that. I'm going back to my ninja shit, man. I liked dude from Knight Rider. I liked how player he was, man. James Bond.
James Bond.
All of them.
I think every real nigga loves James Bond on the low. Why did you like James Bond?
James Bond, first of all, he showed up with all the gadgets, got his shit shaken, not stirred, every time out. People knew who he was when he showed up, and the baddest of bad guys would be like, oh shit, that's James Bond. Then he hook up with the broad who trying to kill him, mac her, then they come in and kill both of them. He throw her in front of the bullet, boop, he out of there. In the movie, the movie is over. He does it again every time.
What?
He was a player. He was a straight player.
He was such a ninja. That makes so much sense.
Player. So yeah, if anybody, James Bond.
Okay.
The black one.
Okay, so let's go back to your self-explorational story. So you're in the house, you're a latchkey kid, right?
Yeah, okay, back to that.
You have all types of things that are in front of you, but like James Bond, you moving like a ninja.
Leapfrog, everything.
So let us know at that age, how did you explore life? We know James Bond was an influence in that narrative. We know you're a latchkey kid. So would one of the tips for the kids that you're speaking to be to have a role model that's maybe...
Yes. Not TV, though.
Not TV.
No. There's people out there. And that's what I neglected to say. I definitely gravitated, and I was blessed to have these people in the neighborhood, these people in my life to show me different things. They must have seen something in me to do so because everybody didn't get to go. But if you see, oh yeah, one more thing. If you seek something, you'll find it.
Okay.
So if it's in your mind, it'd be like, man, I want to do something different. Keep thinking that, and you'll find something different, and you'll try it, and like it or not, you'll move on to the next thing or keep doing what you're doing.
So what kind of person were you seeking?
I think I was just seeking like a male, like the male role models. I had aunties, my father was in and out working or whatever. I had a few uncles, but the male role model, whenever I had it, it was more important to me than a lot of other things. So if my uncle was there, so I didn't have a grandfather, if my uncle was there, one of my uncles or somebody older from the neighborhood or whatever that was, I wouldn't mind riding with them, or I wouldn't mind going to the store for them, or I mind, like, because I always picked up something. Even now, it's still, and I feel like in anything that you do, you can have a younger mentor than you because this person may be more experienced in something than you are. Like if I wanted to go and set this whole thing up, I'm coming to him because I don't know. So he'll mentor me in this process, right? So anytime you can get some game, soak it up, and don't be so in your feelings or in your own way that you don't soak up the game. So that's what I yearned, and that came more from men than it did from to women because they was always readily available to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So did the mentors that you look up, did they have James Bond characteristic traits or?
So most people, I mean, I look up to everybody who's moving around. I take what I feel like is good from certain people, and I imitate it or I use it, and I also notice what I feel like is bad.
Okay.
Not that I'm a judge, but like even a drunk on the street may have a smooth ass walk when, or something funny that I'ma take, but he drunk. I don't want to be drunk. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like you pick things from people, and like I don't know, you move like that. I guess that's
So you would kind of, so for those people who are watching, those 10-year-olds who are in your situation, you just say, be humble, right?
Yep.
Because the person that you need guidance from may not look or be who you think that they should be or look or be acting like, right?
right.
Seek what the gifts that they can give you, and then try to find not just people who are visually or on TV aesthetically or TikTok these days
Right.
aesthetically pleasing, because those people may be doing something that's not in your alignment behavioral wise, or be doing that just to make money off them paying attention to them doing that. So having an actual person or people's right, people's there to mentor you, you can take the good and the bad from them and apply that to your journey.
Oh yeah.
So how far from learning that, because that's a process in learning that,
Yeah.
like, how do you know if somebody was a safe, worthy person to trust?
And the process still goes on too, really, with that. But you don't know. You don't know who you can trust because you really, like the trauma, you really are built to not trust anybody. And that was a lot of the reason why I didn't listen to some of the people who were talking to me, because it was like, well, what do you stand to gain from you telling me? Like, what do you get out of it?
Right.
Thinking people wanted to poach off me. So you don't really know. But some of that stuff stuck that they said, because I can still remember either that as being a regret or something that I actually did listen to. So either way it goes, you should learn something from that.
So would you say, like, from an early child on, you've always known that there was a certain image or a level you wanted to get to?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about, for the sake of like our earlier conversation, we talked about Kevin Samuels. You and Justin give your off-camera opinions. R.I.P. Justin Samuels. So by the time this comes out, you'll be a legend in your own right, and hopefully in the next new life celebrating.
Okay.
So how has women, particularly black women, because this is a black show, we love all women.
Black show.
Okay.
We love all women.
But we appreciate black women here.
We do.
How has black women been instrumental in who you are today?
Black women have been everything for me. I mean, I'm born of a black woman,
Mm-hmm.
the grandchild of a black woman, the nephew of a black woman, the brother of a black woman, the father of a black woman, the cousins of many. I'm a cousin of many black women. So, and they, like I spoke earlier, they were the ones who were around. They are the ones who know something is wrong with you when you don't say nothing. They the ones who are going to ask you if you hungry or just, I mean, they looking out, but they also the ones that need you to be there for them, change the light bulbs, take out the trash, listen, also pick up the kids, also, like, you got to do so much because you need so much as a black man
Mm-hmm.
that it should be like a floating or flowing thing,
Mm-hmm.
but, I mean, how a black woman has shaped me, like, I've learned, like, how to be myself because of a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Rather it been encouragement or discouragement, I had to retreat to myself, to know myself, to be strong enough for a black woman. The aunties, the mothers, the daughters, all of the black women in my life. I had to learn how to be stronger because of a black woman. Right? So, and again, all women are great, right? We love all the women, but my experience is only with that that godlike creature,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's imperative of me to be uh, a protector, a leader, and a friend of a black woman because a lot, I would say, like the water and the blood that's flowing through my body is because of a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that answers the question.
I mean, it answers it to a lot, but okay. So we brought up Kevin Samuel.
Oh yeah, we talking about him again.
We talk about all of it together because they're
Mhm.
both sides of a spectrum
Yeah.
that I want to allow.
I didn't say
women
black
to
woman was perfect.
right?
They just godlike.
Uh-huh.
Like.
Because and I have a sorority sister. She came over this weekend, and she's married. You
Yeah.
know, she wants to be that woman in her family legacy life that has everything, that has it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes when we think about success in relationships, we always, what I feel, a lot of the spotlight goes to the man on like achieving that success. Like a great example for me is Coretta Scott.
Okay. Yeah.
You want to talk about a ninja? She's a real life ninja.
Yeah.
She kept it real the whole time.
Yeah.
She never talked about his business when she had applicable evidence
Yeah.
to really like go in and
Yeah.
ruin his whole life, right? But she was able to, from what the media portrays of her, right? I've never heard any other outside experience of her other than the fact that she was committed, she held them down, and she took care of the kids. She preserved the legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Period. She's a goat. I don't care what woman comes into this earth ever again. We have to acknowledge this woman for really being able to hold him down like that.
Yeah, she do need it. Nobody says nothing about her.
No one ever talks about her.
No.
No one
Nobody
ever.
It's Rosa Parks like that was his wife or something.
Because she's such a ninja.
Yeah.
She doesn't need the applause. She just made the impact, dipped out, did her calling. So what I feel like is there are a lot of Coretta Scotts out there who really want to hold black men down and help them in their legacy, but they also, you know, are living in this very innovative space where black women no longer have to take back seat for a black man's fame or his legendary. How can we like build
Merge the two
together? Like how do you, like you've been through relationships, you've been through ups and downs, you're also raising a family. How do we bridge that gap so like as equally you can have a strong woman who also needs support, right, in her initiative, but you also have a strong man who's probably on his journey or in his journey, right? How do you merge those two together? Because what I feel now is we're giving an option to make a decision instead of how do we work together so that we can still expand together? We only see the aftermath
Yeah.
of a power couple. We don't talk about what it takes to get there.
Experience tells me these things. There's no equality, right? There's nothing, because equal is two forces of the same way, same mass, like basically pushing up against each other. Like that is like friction,
Okay.
right? So when somebody says I'm equal to you, I'm equal to, it's not true, because we do different things. We're stronger in different things.
Yeah.
So it's a balance, right? So you have to merge the two, kind of like a yin and a yang. Like where I'm strong, you're weak. Where you're weak, I'm strong, and we kind of merge. And I think that is like a weekly communication that you need to have with somebody. You need to be like, yo, like, what's up with this week? Like, how is everything going? You need me to help with anything? Or daily, like, people never ask the other person, do you need me to help you with anything? And and then if, like, as a man, you're gonna kind of be like, nah, right? But if that question is asked to you multiple times, you might say, yeah, I do, or vice versa. Like, strong women may be like, nah. But if you communicate about the weak parts, that slowly becomes the merge.
Right. Do you feel like you like? So we're exploring like just your journey in general.
Mhm.
Do you feel like that maybe was something that was difficult to you for you because
Definitely.
you were a latchkey kid and you had to
Yeah.
figure things out?
Yeah.
Talk about like that training and then having to go into partnership, because I feel like that would be that's a big ass discrepancy.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I read the five languages of love, and you kind of learn how you communicate through love, or how you were communicated through love as a child,
Okay.
right? So if there was no intimacy or there was no real affection in the house,
Uh-huh.
you probably won't love like that,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And even if that's the same thing on the other side with the partner, there's still a different dialect of that you have to understand too. So me coming up in that type of situation where communication was either uh, you know, do it right now, or I'm mad at you, right? So
Makes sense.
it wasn't that kind of, it's like, how do you, but she still loves you, that's your mama, right? Or that's your auntie, they still love
Right.
you. So you accept that kind of love, and you communicate within that kind of love,
Right.
instead of being like, what does my partner really need, or what do I need from my partner? You don't know how to really communicate that, because that was never taught to you. You never grew up like that. So
So you brought that narrative into your adulthood?
I brought that narrative into my most recent. Oh yes, I brought that narrative of how I was loved into majority of my relationships, not knowing.
Oh, okay.
That's what, like, oh, I do love you because of this, because I show you love this way, and not communicating to say, I think you're hella dope too. Let's be dope together.
Right.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
can you explain it to me? Like,
Yeah.
how do women want to be shown like I think you're hella
Man.
dope, and then how do men try to show that to us? Because we don't get it sometimes. I know what women look for, what I look for, but
Yeah.
like, how does a man show that?
Most men do it the simple way, was like gifts or whatever.
Okay. What if they don't
But
give gifts though?
I mean, with me, I have to ask to know, right? What's going on? If I know something's going on, I would you gotta listen. You gotta listen to what she likes. What do you like? And really ask that question. What kind of ice cream do you like? Oh, for real? Oh, okay. Long walks on the beach, or fucking dinner. But you gotta ask those questions, and then you can show from there.
Okay, so going back to and I only bring this up because this is I feel like this is what Kevin Samuels, if he was like in this headspace of a we team,
Yeah.
could kind of bridge the gaps together. Because
I don't think he was.
he wasn't, and that's why I want to show that there are learning levels for both men and women. It's not just a woman is supposed to submit and do these things for a man, or a man is supposed to submit and do these things for a woman. It's taking, first of all, into context how you were raised. That has a huge part to do with how you show intimacy, right? Speaking to each other as a collective rather than I need you to hype me up or I need you to hype me up so we can be hyped together. It's more
Yeah.
of what do you need to
Yeah.
be hyped up from
Right.
me
Right.
so we can be hyped up together.
Right.
And it's not this either or. It's a teamwork for with the both end.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like some people don't think that you can have that because they're having issues with past childhood traumas of them not having to grow outside of that pain. And so rather than address it and grow and get your needs met, you start to create these thought processes that align with you being like that and never growing as a person. But then you want this other person to put up with you like they're your mama. And that's just not how relationships work. Like, no one wants to be your parent.
Mm-mm.
They want to be your equal.
Yeah.
And I think that we don't talk about that enough. But you've gone through relationships enough to know, oh, okay, maybe I should like do this. But if I want this outcome, maybe I should do that, right? So I want to go back to, because, I think one of the things that we have to start talking about with our children early on too is relationships. I think we teach them from a perspective of where we're at.
What they see.
And then we expect them to have these committed, long-standing relationships, but we don't teach relationships to our children. And one of the things that I'm teaching my daughter, Vonnie, is that you don't have to make a decision when you're not ready. You don't. And I think a lot of women feel that we have to do a lot of submission because we're running out of time or, we don't fit certain narratives and we rush our decisions and then we have hella trauma. And then we take that trauma into our relationships because we're not focused on the person we're impacting. We're focusing on this fantasy or this timeline that we're trying to seek value in. And we literally forget that there's a man there, like in that process. And that's where, like, I was the toxic one in my last relationship. Okay, I'm healed enough to know I was completely a hot girl, right, in that relationship, and I definitely took a good man down and for granted. So I am not far removed from that. And what I learned from being a toxic one in a relationship is I just needed a body.
A vessel.
I just needed a body, and I was good. I didn't take time from Tegan's dad enough to know that I was dating someone who was on a completely different level and I treated him as him. Like, even though he didn't deserve that level of respect, that's what I had to offer him. And so that's what he received. And he took it because he was a good man and he was like, she's workable. I can heal her. I can fix her. But when you're a broken woman, and you haven't taken time to heal, it doesn't matter how good a nigga is to you. You're going to only be able to see him from the lens of your last experience. And that's just how it is. So have you had any experience exploring, like, being with an unhealthy woman? And how do men and women, right, get to a point where we can actually talk about that?
Yeah, I think I have, no doubt, but sometimes, like, I don't know, because everybody has that unhealthiness in them too, right?
Everybody.
So the water is like, if everybody's in the water once it's tainted already, like you guys are both in it now, because it'll bring out mine's will bring out hers will bring out mine's, and it's all bad. I think if any person's in the situation coming out of another relationship, trying to get into a new one, and if they have not taken the time or done the work to be a better person, even if it's like being better than you was yesterday, take one thing, make it better. Work on it, make it better. 1% every day. Make it better. So yeah, I've been with a toxic women, but it's like a two-way street because it comes out of me too sometimes because you get frustrated. You already have your own, so you bringing your own into it. Men and women need to have those uncomfortable conversations with each other versus an argument.
Okay.
Like that's why it's toxic because it's now it's arguing, but like everybody got their shit. But if I tell you, hey, that really bothered me because this happened to me and da 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 da, and I hella like you, and please don't do that again.
Right.
And
Did
be
you feel like did you feel like you had the understanding to be a
no,
supportive partner?
no. I knew that I didn't want to not be supportive,
Okay.
right? But did I take a class or did I have? I mean, I felt like I was,
Mm-hmm.
right? My intentions was to be so, but the true the knowledge of it, I did not have.
Mm-hmm. Were you thinking that you can get it as you were in the relationship?
Yes,
Okay.
because it was so everything I got. I had a committed relationship when I was like 20 years old to my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Same person. So you don't really know hella man shit because you really wasn't a hell of a
Right.
man yet. So you learning as you go. A lot of mistakes, but you don't make the same mistakes. Then you keep learning. But like you said, there needs to be a relationship class.
Yeah,
And
I think so too.
yeah, they do marriage classes like at the church and things like that. But
Not relationship classes.
yeah,
One thing I regret, and I've had enough time. I know the breaking point in my last relationship. He was sitting down with me,
mm,
and uh, he was having a moment, and he was saying, "Nia, like I'm going through a lot right now, and I just need you to be understanding to that I can't be this person you need me to be right now, right?" So I was like, okay, cool. I'm causing chaos in his life now. Let me remove myself from the equation because I put myself as the problem.
but did he say that? He didn't say that.
That's the regret
Okay.
because I was so in my own and being
Ah,
and thinking of myself
yeah.
and not putting myself in other person's shoes
Hmm.
that I can only see myself as the problem. But realistically, I probably could have helped him be a solution. But I didn't value myself enough to see myself in that light,
Mm,
and I got triggered and I left because I didn't want to be another uh, burden on it. Because I was coming from a relationship where that person made me feel like the biggest mistake of their
burden.
entire life,
Mm.
right? So, do you remember a time where you were just like, you know what, I should have showed up differently? I regret that because we all have regrets, right?
Um, the time is probably many times where I should have showed up and been different. So I guess I can pull something out of the hat as big. um, just on just knowing that I am I am the leader and people are watching like
Mm-hmm.
everybody's watching me. So as soon as I do anything that's not and I mean leaders mess up and they have to take the punches on the chin, but that's a great quality about being a leader because they move forward,
Mm-hmm.
which I was okay with doing, but the movement has to be as such as of a king like
Mm-hmm.
at all times. Right? You have to be like everybody is watching. You have to do and say things the right way because you can't take back words and you cannot really take back actions. So if anything, I should have showed up more of a king than I thought I was. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Got you. I mean, if you ain't got nobody at home telling you that, and you doing all these amazing things at 10 years old, and
Right.
nobody's sitting there nurturing you and telling you how valuable, and that's what,
Yeah.
why it's important
Yeah.
for us to kind of go back and tell our journey, not from a victorious standpoint, but that we're just in it. And because a part of being a true leader is admitting your regrets and your
Hmm.
mistakes and knowing that they're not a part of your story. They didn't make you. They're just teaching moments in
Hmm.
your life that sometimes you can be so great and not in your moment, and you can make one of the biggest mistakes you feel like in your
Hmm.
life, right? But one of the things that why I wanted to have you here to tell your story is because you got a legacy that you're focused on, and ever since I've met you personally, I've seen the growth in that awareness of understanding that. And I think that a lot of Black men get into relationships with quote unquote their ride or dies that they feel like are going to stick by their side through thick and thin. Yeah. And listen, I come from a generation of my ride or dies. I opted out of that. I'm not a ride or die. I know that. I personally know that. Like, if you go to jail, if you got to do stuff, like, I'm not the girl for you. Like, I can't even pick a sports team because I'm that disloyal.
Damn.
It's bad. Sheesh. But I'm real about that.
Yeah, transparent is good.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm learning, right, not to be on the complete like red of that, right? And I'm working myself backwards because I grew up with a lot of women who were sacrificial to what they wanted because they had this end game in their mind where they felt that they can emotionally navigate and get to this point. Just like I was like, oh, I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna be Robin Gibbons, but like, she do you see how detached this woman is? Detached. Do you want to set yourself up for being a detached woman? But that as a child who's seeing this woman finesse and get her way, I'm only focused on the things I don't have. Right. I'm not focused on the things that she had to go through in order to get there. Right. Just like if you're focusing on all these mentors you have and they're great men, but you getting now into a relationship, where were they talking about women at? Right. Right. Where were the women that were holding them down? Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, that's why I say like Coretta Scott, she's forgotten. No one talks about her. They only talk about the greatest of the men. Right. So I think that when we tell these stories, we tell our victory stories, regardless of how like painful they may be. Children got to respect their moms as people, not as their possessions. Okay, children have to respect their fathers, regardless of how present they are, because if you can't respect your mother and father, then you are denying a part of yourself. True. And I've had to really, really, even my own journey with my mom, had to forgive her, right, for not knowing better. And same thing with my father, because if you can't honor and respect your mother and father, then you hate yourself, essentially. Because they brought you into this world. So as hard as it may seem for some children out there who are 10 and they're going through this neglect and they're, upset about that, part of that journey is accepting yourself so that when you get in their shoes, right, that you're not beating yourself up unconsciously for not knowing. Because who was talking about that? Like when you were a latchkey kid, were you just seeing your parents just kind of work, get money, and bring it back to the family? Or were they talking about, hey, we're going through this today? This stuff came up.
It was just moving.
Right.
Probably wouldn't even, seeing them together almost was like, oh, what's a special occasion?
So how are you changing that legacy for you?
I'm showing up. As far as with my children and work is work for sure, but there has to be a set scheduled time for your family. I've noticed that over the last, let's just say since COVID, that community and family means a lot. You go through something, you need that community to help you get through that. So spending time with that community, that family, is paramount to me. My schedule was kind of like 2 days on, 4 days off. So when I have my kids, I'm like, we're doing stuff. We're getting up together. We're stretching. We're working out together. We're cooking together. We're eating together. We're spending these moments and having these adventures to have memories. So a lot of that I didn't have. My memories, like you said, could have been traumatic. Remember when they was arguing downstairs? Versus like smiles. Right. And hopefully that produces some stuff that will kind of like drown out that virus or that trauma that I passed on to them from me seeing and going through that stuff like that.
So part of my journey of where I'm at when it comes to like rewriting my narrative, right? Which I think a lot of us are at, right? Is I'm refusing the dating trauma. Like, if it's hard,
Anything.
if it's confrontational, if I have to talk you into doing the right thing, if
A person.
yeah,
Okay.
you know, if we just can't be cool and just be copacetic and we talk about our future and where we want to see ourselves at, we're just not on the same alignment.
I mean, and that's okay.
Or it's not. Because I think that, listen, when you've gone through separation on a level of divorce, I think you kind of know.
A little bit.
If you take your time to really evaluate your shortcomings, what you want.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people who are separated or are in their cycles and they haven't healed, they try to do the same thing, but in a different way.
Which ends up being the same way.
It ends up being the same thing because you're not changing what you're allowing into your life. You're just trying to modify how you receive it. So I'm at the point where I'm like, listen, I got peace. I can bring you peace.
Right.
You know, we can talk about making money together so I can bring you abundance.
Yeah.
But what I can't do is bring drama.
Yeah.
And you can't bring it to my life either.
Yeah.
Confusion. I'm not trying to be a confusing person. I'm trying to be straight up, right? And I'm not trying to be fearful.
All these big words.
You know, I'm not trying to be fearful of like just being cool with somebody. And this is where I come from, this philosophy. Everybody's supposed to be your wife or your husband. You may meet them because this is a great business person. They may be a great babysitter. They probably have some really great connections, some really good weed.
Okay.
Everybody's not your husband.
Everybody's not your husband.
What
or wife.
Value
can you
bring to this person and see in them? Because I feel like a lot of us women are so focused on connection with a man in the form of relationships that we're just, again, on that timeline and on that narrative. But we could be missing a great person who knows about taxes.
Something.
And be failing financially in our taxes. It's like we got to get bigger and broader in how we receive men, right? So that we don't come to this conclusion of like we're having to fit into a narrative that just isn't our own. And then we go through these toxic experiences and we don't heal. And then we end up getting into another toxic relationship and then we don't heal. And then when we look back and we wonder why society is like this and why our kids ain't listening to us, well, what are we doing in front of them? What examples are we setting? What narratives are we instilling in them? And this is something I had to look at, you know, with my daughter because she's honest as hell, right? And what she said was, you are putting work before your kids.
She said that to you?
She did. But she was right. But she didn't know why.
Right.
Right? So I was happy she brought that up.
Yeah.
Because then now she's working.
Okay.
And she's taking care of her brother more.
Yeah.
So I can spend that quality time.
Right.
I was working like a slave.
Yeah.
So she can feel comfortable with telling me something like that.
That's
so
good.
I welcome in full transparency.
Yeah. That's good.
From her, because now last night she was telling me, I'm tired. I'm tired from taking care of Tegan. She had to go to work on Saturday, and then Sunday was Mother's Day, so she had to prepare something for Mother's Day, and she was burnt out.
That's what's up, though.
But I bet she won't fix her mouth to say that again.
Nah, she knows now.
She gets it.
Yeah.
So I just believe that when I started taking accountability and responsibility, rather than victimize myself and put people as a problem, you know, of why I couldn't get to what I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Then revelations start happening to me, because one thing I can say about from latchkey kid to experiences and narratives that we all go through, that you've gone through too, at the end of the day, we're going to be who we're going to be.
Right. Right.
And so if one thing about long-standing relationships and commitments, just from what I've experienced through failures of it, okay, I told you I was a bandwagon, is that if you can't see that person for who they are because you haven't gotten a chance to get to know them on that level, then it's not going to work anyway. No matter how much people pleasing you do, no matter how much you try to fit into this perfect wife syndrome or perfect husband syndrome, if you don't know that person, then it doesn't matter. Because people, especially people with trauma, when you get close to them and you stay, you're going to see the depths of them.
Yeah.
I mean, or else you're not going to be in a long-standing relationship. And people who come from complex trauma, which is a lot of people in the Bay Area, we've been in such a ninja mode.
For the longest time. For the longest time.
That you really don't know who you'll be getting into a relationship with until you're in the relationship with them and you're in it. So I think it's really more so about, being able to understand when your body, your mind, your soul has its limits. I don't think that relationships that don't work out are failures. I just think that you have to love people in different ways and learn how to work together to create that happiness, because happiness can be found in many, many different narratives if we're open to it. But we're so focused on what was the question was that Justin asked was, would you rather be with a narcissist, a person who's controlling, or dishonest? Huh?
Dishonest or insecure.
Or insecure. Which one would you rather be with? And this is like your life partner forever.
Oof. Narcissist, control freak, dishonest, and insecure. Is there a percentage I could put in?
No, it's just you gotta that's what your faith is.
Man, so I don't know, man. That's
you gotta pick one.
I don't know, because you can't work on I don't know, that shit is hard to work on, all of it.
Okay, but people are people.
All right, okay, let's go with insecure.
You're working with an insecure person?
We put a 5-year cap on it, though.
You can't do that.
Put a 5-year.
This is a longevity, legacy, prosperity type vibe. You in it. That's it. There's no outs. Not even after 5 years, this person you're going to see to the end of your life. They're going to bury you.
Choose me. Choose me in that situation. If I knew coming into that.
You have to choose one.
Damn, man. We gonna go insecure. Insecure, man.
So, Paul, ladies, if you're and you are insecure, he is your healer. Okay, he's your man. Justin can do narcissist. So if you are a narcissist, my homie Justin. He's your guy. So we know we got types here. Okay.
Ooh-wee.
So before we go off, last question.
Okay.
If you were an instrument, what type of instrument would you be and why?
I would be a saxophone.
Okay, why would you be a saxophone?
I'll be a straight up saxophone. Saxophone, there's so many buttons on the saxophone. Like, it's so many things, right? It could be like me used to have so many triggers. Now I have so many pleasure points. You know what I'm saying? I make beautiful music when I'm on one, and I'm versatile. I could be at the jazz thing, I could be at a hip hop thing, or like I could be anywhere.
Okay.
The saxophone, right? They make little saxophones, they make big saxophones. I'm good. And what's more sexier than a saxophone?
Okay.
Me.
In 5 years, what can we hold you accountable for? What can we see in 5 years for you?
I'm gonna be leveled up in 5 years for sure.
Okay.
I can't really say. I have goals and plans and things like that, but I can't really say what exactly I'm going to be doing. But I will be in a better space. My children for sure will be in a better space. In 5 years, we're gonna go to your virtual office in the Meta and do this on the Meta. Right? We're gonna be like avatars. We'll be I'm gonna be a saxophone avatar.
Right, you're gonna be a saxophone.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sitting right here.
So in 5 years, we can hold you accountable for not being where you at right now,
No.
but ambiguous about how you're gonna get there. That's the ninja.
That's the ninja.
And then we can hold you accountable for meeting me and Meta on a different in a new universe because AI is taking over.
It's taking over.
So you're going to be there in 5 years with me. Shout out to you bringing me your manifestation. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna be on the top.
And let people know like where they can get in contact with you. What are you doing?
Sure.
Also, before we get into that, that youth you were speaking to, give them one word of wisdom. What can they be intentional about?
Never
Just
give
one
up.
word.
Okay, don't give up. That's 2 words?
That's 2 words.
Diligent.
Diligence.
Stay diligent.
All right, stay diligent. For those of you who are latchkey kids and like trying to figure out what's up, stay diligent.
Stay diligent.
Okay? And where can people find you?
People can find me on social media, A-Team5 Fitness. That's the handle. That's the fitness handle, and we do a lot of stuff in the community through that site. I am everywhere if you want to be. I'm in the city of Oakland, the city of San Francisco, doing a lot of work with Ministry of Muscle. I'm doing stuff with them. Again, doing stuff through the IFA Foundation, 100 Black Men in the Bay Area. And I'm around working in a municipal facility in the area of Oakland. So if you see me, say what's up. We could chop it up.
Yes. So it has been another great episode of Black Inspiration with Nia. If you were moved, touched, and inspired by Mr. Paul's rendition of his self-explorational journey, hook up with him. He has so many things to get in contact with him, so many ways to be around his energy. One of the things he said that really helped him for those youth that are looking for out is that attract the people you want in your life, attract the people who you need to help guide you. And so if you guys were looking for him, voila, here he is. He's available to you. So please share, like, comment, email me if you want to go on your self-explorational journey with me. This is all about being Black, being proud, being free. Till next time, thank you for tuning in, and I'm sending you love.